Hello everyone, and welcome. Today we are building this little beauty. So this is a Simfluencer starter house. It's a bit of a mouthful, and it is in Mount Komorebi, being built in Mount Komorebi. So it is going to have a Japanese style to it, as you may have noticed. So it is actually super cute. I was really happy with how this build came out. So the sim that is going in here is a male, and he is a Simfluencer. He is, what is he? He's just finished high school. Like he graduated high school early. You can see him standing out the front there, and I'm not sure if he's going to go to university or not at this stage, but at this point in time, he has a Simfluencer career, which is, it's under the part-time job, but it's a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit more than a part-time job. So yeah, so he's going to be doing that. So he's going to be Simfluencer, which is a cool idea. So I am just fussing around with the roof at the moment. So I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm extending that out, the gable roofing there, and I've done like a flat roof underneath the gable roofs. I'm just going to fix the side of the roof there. So just going to remove all the eave extensions, and voila, it's fixed. So yeah, so I'm doing like a flat roof underneath the gable roof, which is, to be honest, something I've never done before. So I was mucking around with just how to get that to work. So when I because I was initially not going to have a flat roof under there, I was going to have like another gable roof there, but it just was looking funny. I couldn't get it to work. So I'm putting a foundation on it because I created a room using the fencing, put a foundation on it, then deleted the fencing, and then it created this little cool platform roof underneath the house, and I actually really liked that, and I thought it worked, so that's what I did. So I'm going with a color palette of black and brown in this build. I feel like that it's definitely more of a modern style than it is anything else, with touches I guess with traditional, because it is a Japanese style home, but yeah, definitely more towards the modern side of things because he is a young sim. And he is a Simfluencer, so he is into the latest things as well. So just fixing the little back area. And did I mention it's a starter home? It's a starter home. If I didn't mention it, it is a starter home. So I'm just going to try and recreate what I did around the front, around the back. So I will have a little muck around just to get that actually sitting right and recreate the methodology that I used to get that look. I was like, oh, hang on, how did I actually do this? Because it's, as I mentioned, it's not something that I've actually done before. So I built the fencing first, and then put a platform, I put a platform base around it, lifted it 1 to get the platform base showing, then deleted the fencing. I don't know if this is the most fussy way to do it, but anyway, it's the way I did it, so that's what I'm going with. And then that created my roof, and I'm just extending the roof back again, because if I had it sitting too close, it just the edge of it stuck through the side of the roof and it looked weird, so I had to go slightly bigger, but I think that worked nicely. And getting the column in there as well, and just using the dine out column, I think it is, in black. So then I get to choose a foundation. What did I do with the foundation? I think I just went with the plain black from base game on that. And so I'm just mixing up my colours. Oh, I'm just trying out whether or not I want to have the mix up the foundation colours. Actually, I think maybe I do. I have like the mid brown as well as the black coming through, I think, on the foundation. We'll see what I do, but that might be the case of what I do. So I'm probably going to look for a third color. I'm just changing the color of the brown. I decided it was too bright and I wanted to go for like a slightly more muted tone. So I'm going black on the roof, brown on the trim, and a darker brown on the walls is what I've gone with. And I think that looks really nice. And nice and masculine as well. So I'm not sure what I'm doing now. Oh, shingles. Yes, okay. We definitely need the shingles. We definitely don't need the shingles, but we need shingles on our roof, I think is what I was doing. Oh, I'm just deciding on a third colour. and whether or not I do a third color, but I decided not to. I kept it simple and just went with 2. So just keep an eye on the money situation down in the bottom left corner, because it is rapidly ticking down. I've already used over almost 6,000 simoleons on the exterior. Oopsie. I can't help myself, you know, because you want the exterior to look pretty, so you spend the money on it. I do 100% go to debug on the landscaping, because it's a starter home, and if I want it to look any good, I've got to use either a really cheap build and not have much, or I just go a little bit more expensive on the, well, not expensive, but a little more cheaty on using the debug. And have all the free items, because hey, who doesn't want a lovely free item? So I'm just lifting it up so I could have like decent railing going down, and I'm just working on what fencing I want. So I'm using the snowy escape fencing for this build, so just getting it around there, and then I'll go around and fix all the foundations, because I love how they change the color of the foundations when you put fencing on. I don't know why it does that. It's just like, why do you have to change the foundation? Why? And around the back of the build, I'm going to do the snowy escape large sort of bamboo fencing as well. So that'll evolve with the build. I think I moved that around a little bit, the house around a little bit, because I wanted a little bit more room around the back. I was like, there's not much room. So yeah, that kind of evolved a little bit. We got there in the end though. I really do actually quite like that fencing, and it suited the colour of the fencing that I chose. Actually worked super well with the colour of the house that I chose, so I was like really stoked with that. Just changing the colour of the railing, because I wanted to go dark brown on that. It just sort of seemed that it worked better. I actually used the Jungle Adventure flooring on the decking, and that made me happy, because it's a pretty decking. And I think that going with a light brown opposed to blending it in with the colours that I already had just made it stand out a little bit more, and I think it looks really nice, so I was happy with that. So I'm going with the grown together doors. Oh, well, I was and then like the colour didn't work, so I think that is, I don't know which door that is. It looks like Eco Lifestyle, but I could be wrong. But I am definitely using the Snowy Escape windows, because that's the best windows to use for any build in Mount Komorebi, if you want to go for a Japanese style home, because it's got the Japanese style windows. So, you know, makes perfect sense. I was fussing around with this top area for a little while. I was playing with the idea of a triangle window, then I was playing with the idea of a square window, and then I thought about the island living flip out window, and that ended up being what I went with. So this is where I'm trialing that, because the color actually worked really nicely, and yeah, it just looked like a shuttered little window, and I thought that is super cute. So then I went to the landscaping side of things. So I'm just doing a modern letterbox, which color wise absolutely perfect with the house, so couldn't be happier with that. And then I had to work out what I wanted to do with, I had to go terrain paint, obviously, because it's a starter house and I'm not going to waste money on tiles if I don't have to. So yeah, terrain paint on that. And I just went with the, what did I go with? I think I ended up going just with base game. The sort of the green and sort of like a grassy, greeny, gravelly type one. Haven't used that one too much lately. I used to use it all the time when I was doing terrain paint, but then I just sort of, I don't know, expanded my repertoire, who knows, but I'm fussing around with this for a little while, but I think I end up deleting it anyhow. Yeah, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do there. It'll change, so that's fine. It'll progress. So the main thing that I wanted to work on was this corner. I did have an issue because of how close the house was to that corner, it did cause things to float. You know how sometimes you're placing items and yeah, when they are too close to the house and then they'll float. I had a big issue with that, with decorating that little corner where the letterbox is now. The letterbox will move and I put something else there, but yeah, that was a little bit of a struggle doing some landscaping in that corner because of the whole thing with the floating foundation issue. Not that the foundation was floating, but everything else is floating because of the foundation. So now I'm going into debug and getting my free things. And this will evolve. I'll skip over some of the fluffing around because I went through about, I don't know how many. This took me ages. I went through so many ideas and thoughts, and yeah, this is like the 5th or 6th idea of what I wanted to work on in this corner, and this is actually the one that sticks. So I'm doing like a little pond in the corner, so you can see there I'm just dropping down the ground, getting in the water, and just the rocks and the greenery there going in. So yeah, it took me a long time just to do this corner. It was utterly ridiculous. Like, why? Why did it take me so long? I don't know. Because I didn't want to have anything like super gardeny, because he's not really a gardening guy, and it needed to be something that kind of fit the area, and I just wanted to throw in like the little decorative temple light thing that came with debug, just because it added to the vibe of the area. And yeah, I think I was really happy with how it came out, and it worked. And I guess that the time spent on fluffing through all the things that didn't work was worth it because of that. But yeah, it took me a long time to work that out. Now I am changing the front garden. I just decided I didn't like the grass, so I went with a hedge effect, and I'll pull that back in the back garden as well. So that'll be sort of pretty consistent with the landscaping side of things. Oh, I found a few little bits and pieces for the outside in debug. So there's a couple of pots around on the porches of things that I found that I thought might be useful. So that's what I did. Just getting in a bit of the brown terrain paint just to give it a bit more liveliness. And as you can see, I did delete at one point the rest of the landscaping that I had in place, so this is changing from what I actually had. Although here it is, I'm going back to it. So it's like, oh no, hang on, that's what I had. So then I'm just going to do like a little pathway around to the letterbox. I found like this little rock with a thing on it, and it just kind of felt like a street number type of thing, so I was like, this is cute, so I'm going to put that there. And I just added some rocks to outline the path, and just putting some more little bits of greenery and foliage around the place as well. Alright, so we're moving to the inside, and we have 10,000 simoleons left. I have used half of the budget on the exterior, so well done me. I have not left him much room, much space for, oh, not much space. He's got lots of space, but I have not left him much money for furnishing. But fortunately, this is, I use, pack-wise, I think I actually end up limiting the packs that I use. So I don't actually go crazy overboard on the packs, but I am using a really good mix of packs. And this means that I can use some of the cheaper items, things like from Eco Lifestyle, stuff like that. So yeah, I actually managed to do pretty well, I think, with the furnishing. But yeah, 10,000 simoleons to do it. Eek! That's a bit of a squeak, but we get there in the end. Anyway, I really loved how I came up with the bathroom. Like, it evolved to stone, so I'm using the horse ranch stone, and then I'm going to change the flooring over to something in a grey. But yeah, that came together really nicely. For a cheap little bathroom, like, I just used the Snowy Escape shower, so that's just going on the wall. And I mean, I kept it pretty simple, but I really like that stone on the wall. I'm actually probably going to do that more in bathrooms, because I actually was quite pleased with that. So just placing in I mean, it's cheap stuff. It's a starter home. I can't afford the expensive stuff, so, you know, I'm just using the cheap stuff. But that's fine, because it is a starter home and it's just where we're beginning. And I couldn't afford much in the way of decorations, so there's not much in the bathroom. It's basic. And actually, I ended up getting quite a lot of stuff in the bedroom. We'll come back to that. But the bed, I pretty much saw this colour and I was like, sold. And then I moved on to the living area. So we will go back to the bedroom and finish that off. I just happened to see the bed and I wanted to make sure that I had the key furniture in first before I fussed around with decorative stuff. I do find that the easiest way to decorate a starter home is to do the basics on the outside. If I'm using debug for the landscaping, then it doesn't matter if I landscape, but generally if I do landscape in a starter home, I will do that last because it's the least important. And yeah, I'll make sure I have all the important stuff placed in the house first, and then I can go and add to it just depending on how my budget is going. So as you can see, we're pretty low on funds at this stage, but I have got the base furniture in the house. So we've got a really good decent fridge and oven. Actually, I went fairly expensive on that. I did go with the cheap horse ranch cabinets and fairly cheap basic on the table, although not super cheap. And I'm getting a desk in here and creating like a study nook in this corner, and I'm going with Dream Home Decorator stuff on that in the sort of the darkish brown. Not the dark brown, but the darkish brown there. So just getting like the cheap eco lifestyle couch in there, and the sort of the burlap sack style seating. Came up with a really nice rug that worked really well with the colours of the room. So I was really happy with that, and that's from Growing Together, that particular rug. By the way, it's not one that I don't think I've used so much as in houses, so I was actually quite delighted with how that worked with the room. I was like, actually that works really nicely, the colours and stuff. So yeah, I was pleased. So then moving on to the bedroom. So I have less than 1,000 simoleons left. I've got the curtains in the bedroom, I've got a bed, and I've got side tables, although those side tables are annoying. I think they only have a small slot on them instead of a medium, so getting lamps on them are a bit of a pain. So I deleted those and actually went with a cheaper table and lamps. Then I still had a bit of money left over for a dresser and a mirror, so I'm going to do those as well. And you went with the basic Dream Home Decorator dresser along with the horse ranch mirror, and then a basic base game mirror as well. And I'm just doing some cheap clutter. I didn't go too expensive on the clutter. I just went with like the kind of the base game kind of baby stuff, but it's like got bottles and stuff, and you know, you could interpret it as not baby stuff. And then the horse ranch rug, so that wasn't too expensive. I'm just changing the color of the curtains. I thought the cream just wasn't quite working, so I'm going with a slightly different kind of white-ish grey kind of color. And then I am going to change the walls over. So I went with a darker color on the walls, and I think that worked really nicely. So like the curtains worked in with the sheets on the bed, and then the darker wallpaper worked in a lot nicer in terms of contrast. So I'm just going to go through, and with 400 simoleons left, I'm going to find all the cheapest shelving that I can. So thank you so much, Eco Lifestyle. You have been brilliant and cheap, and I have used you very well in this build. So I'm putting that to fill that space on the wall there, and we've got another Eco Lifestyle shelf there, and this is another shelf from Eco Lifestyle. Was it Eco Living? Eco Lifestyle. Eco Lifestyle seems more logical. I don't know. Anyway, so I moved that over to that side there, and then I needed something else to go there, and then I found this really super cheap shelving with like linen on it. I was like, that's perfect for the bedroom. So the bedroom looks really full and furnished, and I was absolutely delighted by that. I was like, yes, for a starter home, stoked. So there's actually, you know, when you're not limiting yourself pack wise, or you're using specific packs, which I did. There's no like kits, and I don't think there's any stuff packs. I think there's only about 3 or 4 yeah, of the game packs, and then a few of the expansion packs. So it is a limited pack build. I couldn't for the life of me tell you which packs. I know Horse Ranch Growing Together, Dream Home Decorator, Snowy Escape off the top of my head, but yeah, that's and Dine Out, I definitely use that. And Get Together, I use that as well. Cottage Living, I use that as well. So I am just about out of money, so I thought, right, well, I think that's the interior basically done. I was super happy with that. It doesn't look like a starter home. I'm just going to put like something in the bathroom. So a cheap rug, and I think something in the corner as far as a cheap plant goes, just to give it a little bit of life. And then a couple of cheap little chairs on the outside, and that's basically my money gone, but I'm going to try do something in the yard just to add to it. But hello, Debug. I'm going to use you and you will be my friend. So I did a little bit of mucking around, and I drew out a bit of stuff, terrain paint. Oh my. So I wanted to create like a little bit of a garden, just getting the the grid on there so I can see where I'm drawing that. I mean, if I had the money, I'd definitely do something different with the backyard. Probably put a pool in there or something like that, and like a hangout spot for him, because he is a Simfluencer. So I found something that was free that I could use to outline the garden. I'm not telling you guys what. It's silly. But they kind of look like rocks, and I was like, I think I can get away with this if I half cover it with with hedging. So this pulls back the hedging that I used in the front garden, and put that into the back garden as well. I did have to shrink it down, and it did leave shadowing, which kind of irritated me, but yeah, it's not too bad. So let's take a tour of what we did. So this is the exterior of the build. So you can see all the bits and pieces that we did, the lovely garden at the front, and all of the, I feel like it's nice and peaceful and lovely. So then heading inside, we will take a look at the interior. So it's all very much woods and browns, and I feel like it is masculine and modern, and I can see like a young guy in here just starting out in life. You know, he's got his 20,000 simoleons, so he's off to do that. And yeah, I think he would really like this house, because it's just giving him a good little leg up into the world, and it's something he could actually show off to his friends and not feel like he's, you know, living in a dingy hole. So that's nice. So then moving through to the bedroom, we've got all the lovely woods again, carrying through the look from the living area, but we've gone for a darker look on the walls as well. So I think that works really nicely. And it's pulled together by the lovely rug from Horse Ranch. Thank you very much. And then we will go and take a quick peek in the bathroom. So that's it there, with the stone and the grey, and I think that's lovely. And thank you so much for joining me on this build. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.